Hello and welcome back to Budget Bites. I'm Erin, dietitian at the Weight Loss and Wellness Center, and with me I have
Leah Brooks, mental health specialist.
Hi, Cheri Harrison, Weight Loss and Wellness Coordinator.
And we're here to have a panel discussion today about meal planning, because that is one thing that people that I work with every week really struggle with.
Yes.
And it looks different for a lot of different people. And so hopefully we have a good representation of ways that we really meal plan and that can maybe help you out with your struggles. So I guess I should ask, meal planning from a structure perspective, why would you even bother?
Well, meal planning is really important. I talk about it a lot with my patients because it helps take the guesswork out of healthy eating. It is very easy in our society to grab quick grab and go things. Sometimes that can be healthy and balanced. Sometimes there's a lot of great options out there, but sometimes it can be not what we were hoping to get. So meal planning, having things laid out, planned, and prepped for how often you want to eat and what you want to be eating and what you're hoping to eat, just makes it more able to get that.
I like how you said it takes the guesswork out of
I like that.
it.
That was good. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but Cheri, why would this necessarily be a Budget Bites topic?
Kind of getting into some of the meal planning ideas that I think different people have different ways of going. If you're planning ahead, I think that reduces your impulse buys, or at least it does for us, because we know we've got that plan and you're just not buzzing through the grocery store saying, that looks great, this is on sale. I think it helps reduce the wasted money.
You are so right. I went shopping and I go to the same place every time. I went without a meal plan and I spent a legitimate $50 more than I did the next
That's
week.
a lot.
Yeah, it was $212 versus like $160 something.
And add that up for how many times you do it a month and
Right.
a year. That's a lot. Yeah.
So that's why we're talking about on Budget Bites today. Let's jump right in it. What does meal planning look like in the Brooks household?
Well, we actually do our shopping day to day. Some people look at me a little bit askance.
How very
more.
European.
It is. Well, it's funny you say that. I actually spent a lot of my childhood in Germany, so that's kind of second nature for me to do my shopping day to day. But my husband and I spent a lot of our early marriage in Boston. So we had public transportation and a very tiny city apartment to contend with.
I can't even imagine doing my weekly Walmart haul on bus.
We could not, no. So we could not, it was like, nope. And we had the MBTA, so very famous system, shout out.
So you shop every day.
Yeah, we do. We have kept that system up even though we have a lovely garage and a lovely car now, because reducing food waste is really important to us now too.
So I would think that shopping more often would actually increase food waste. So how do you make that work?
We evaluate day to day. So my husband's actually the primary cook for our evening meals. So he is very close to home. He can stop by on his lunch break and say, okay, here's what we've got left over. Here's what we have for our size. He uses the balance plate to start off. He knows the kind of guidelines there. And then he uses that to fill in the gaps. Here's what we can build on. So some days he's just buying the protein. Maybe some days he's buying.
So you plan day to day and then you shop day to day.
Yes.
How do you do it, Cheri?
So we're actually pretty opposite of that. That's why it's really interesting to hear you say that. So we plan a week at a time. So we have little ones at home, and my husband is also the primary cook. Shout out, Ben. But for us, what works best is we do it a week at a time. So we'll sit down on a Sunday usually, and just paper and pencil, paper and pen, nothing fancy, and just write out what do we have going on this week? What kind of meals are we going to be home late? Does it need to be a quick meal that night? Is this going to be a night where there's more time to cook? So for us, it's a week at a time, and the grocery trips are a week at a time also.
How many meals then do you plan to prepare each week? 7?
We usually do 6 because one of our meals is usually it makes a bigger portion size. So we plan a leftover night, and if on that leftover night, if there's other things available, we can kind of hodgepodge that in there. So we plan a day for leftovers, and we're just talking supper time meals at this point. But yeah.
So you do the whole week, and then your whole grocery list is item by item what you need for those meals.
Yes.
I think I split the difference between you guys. I actually only plan to make 3 or 4 meals a week, and then that becomes leftovers for lunch. And we usually go out at least once and then we have like leftovers. And of my 3 to 4 meals, I always make a crock pot meal that's gonna be repurposed.
Nice, nice.
So I only cook 3 or 4 times.
Okay.
But my grocery list is built around
Yes.
those big meals.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do for other meals? We talked a lot about dinner, but
Yeah, I've really come to adopt some of that prepping ahead. As my little guys have gotten older, there are far fewer leftovers to take advantage of.
hungry little
That's
monsters.
right.
There's less and less. How do such tiny people eat so much? So I've started to do a little bit of the meal planning for my lunches. I commute, so I just don't like to spend a lot of my time in the store for a big stock up. I found that that was a big time suck for me. So I've started to do some of that online shopping through apps and pickups and things, and I've found that to be really helpful in the pickup element. But then I also do find a big batch recipe that will kind of divide up. I don't mind repetitiveness, so I can find a good balanced recipe that I can repeat one meal throughout the week.
And that's separate from your like day-to-day market shopping.
Absolutely. Yep. I will kind of do a quick run for something that I can do, say, for my work lunches or for the kids' snacks or breakfasts or things like that.
It's kind of like you've kind of divided your like these are the family meals and then these are the Leah meals.
Oh yeah. We do a hybrid.
A hybrid, yes. Now I know that you grocery store pick up.
We do, and I love it. I do, I love it. I'm a huge fan. So about a year ago, we have little ones at home, and schedules just, I say we're blessed to be busy. Things get busy, nights get busy, so it was just too much time in the grocery store. So I tried the online shopping. I personally just do the Walmart pickup just out of convenience. It really could not be easier, honestly.
How much time does it take you to put your grocery list
Yeah,
in
sure.
here?
And that, I love that you asked that, because we do the planning on Sunday, but in order to be able to be efficient at it, if we are out of something, like if we run out of hamburger during the week, or you know, our butter, whatever, we just scan kind of the barcode on the product.
You can do that.
And
Oh my
yeah,
goodness.
it's amazing. It's amazing.
I didn't know you could do that.
So it automatically adds it.
And add it to your cart. Yeah, or you can type it, but if you scan it, so we kind of have that, oh gosh, we're running out of this, we can scan it, and then we sit down Sunday informally and go through everything and add everything to the cart.
I have learned something new
Yes.
today.
No more transferring your shopping list into an app.
No, you don't even have to.
Well, because I know
Note to
that
self.
time to plan, time to do the grocery shop, no matter how I slice it. I mean, from leaving my home to getting back to my home, it's an hour and a half to do my weekly grocery store trip. And so if I could trim time that way,
It's nice.
and that helps with like these households of one that I know
Yes.
we all have come into contact with. That's an argument that I hear a lot. Like, yeah, I'm not going to spend that much time on just me. What do you have to say for those kind of households of one? I know it's very different than your current arrangement.
Sure, and I think just from using the online shopping as much as we do, I think it would be easy for anybody, household of 1 or 31. If you're just get that system down where you're used to making that list, it's already in your cart. You just order it, pick it up, and you just go and pick it up. And I think everyone is worthy of eating well.
Right.
1 or 31 in your family, it doesn't matter. Everyone's worthy of that. So I think I'm a big fan, again, of just being able to use that.
I can't imagine even a household of one wouldn't want more time, like an hour and a half on their weekend.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So this can work, you're saying?
I think so.
I think it's valuable, which is why we're bringing this here to you today. I have one last question before we go, and that is, do you feel that the pattern you have is making the most financial sense for your household right now, or would you change it to save more money? What do you think, Leah?
Well, if you had asked me a few weeks ago when I fell out of the pattern of the grocery pickup, I would say no, because I got into that impulse spending bit. I'm the shiny, flashy person. But with the day-to-day shops and the pickup where we keep the budget tight and we stay on track, yes, absolutely. The dollar amount stays the same week to week and we can plan around that.
Well, that's nice to be able to plan your budget too.
Absolutely, absolutely. We can count on that.
And I think ours is similar to what Leah said in the online shopping. You can see exactly how much you're adding to your cart. So if you have a budget and you're set and you're over that, you can go back and reevaluate and say, gosh, do we need to really get 4 sticks of butter, or are we just needing 1 to get us through this week? And I don't say we never impulse buy, but our impulse buying has gone from here to here with impulse shopping, because it's
You're not even in there to
impulsive.
see.
We're not in there to see it, and we know exactly what we're getting ahead of time, which is nice. So it works really well for us.
Well, and I think for us, we could definitely spend less money grocery shopping, but because we've planned, we get to choose what we want to spend. Like, I usually pick one more expensive meal to make, but then I know I need to balance it out with my other 2 or 3 ones to kind of balance that cost. Because I like food, I enjoy that. And so, like, single girl stunner would not have spent this much money in the grocery store. But now in my newer arrangement, we have come together to discuss a higher level that we're comfortable with.
That's nice.
So I think that's an important point to make, that it's not a contest, how low can you go, right?
We're not doing the limbo here.
This is not the limbo.
Absolutely.
It's not how cheap can you feed your family.
That's right.
Because you could buy 3 packs of ramen noodles per person per day, and that would cost you 36 cents a day per person. But the question is not can you, it's should you.
Right.
And so I think that's something I'd like to just end by saying, is that whatever you are comfortable spending on your grocery bill, do it. Make the active decision, and you'll already be making better choices.
I love how you said that. Yep. Love it.
Do you ladies have anything to add to our meal planning, grocery shopping, budget bites episode?
I just would say, if there's any comments or questions or anything, I learn from people all the time that come in the office. So I'm always learning like little tricks of the trade that people are doing. So let us know in the comments if you got something that's working. I personally would love to hear it.
Yes, absolutely.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us. We can't wait to keep talking about our food waste series. We've just talked a lot about planning and grocery shopping to reduce food waste. Join us next time when Leah and I are going to be back in the kitchen talking about how to maybe use up some of those things that could go to waste but really shouldn't.
Sounds good.
Right.
We'll see you soon.
Bye.